Okay, so today we're talking about graphing lines with a table of values. This is the first we've done graphing before. This is the first time we're actually graphing something to get, other than just a couple of points, to get it, something else out of it. In this case, it's going to be lines. It goes along with functions because the functions we have been talking about, when you graph them, they make lines. So how do you graph them? It's actually pretty easy. We've been doing these table of values. Yesterday, when we did the table of values, at the end we listed the solutions. If you'll remember, we always listed the solutions as ordered pairs. The reason being is those ordered pairs then become the points on a graph. And so all you have to do is make a table of values like we did before, and then take your four solutions, put them on a graph, and connect them. So if I was going to make a graph for the equation y equals x plus 2, I start by making my table of values. So I've got my column for my x's, I've got x plus 2, I get my column for my y's. Now again, just like yesterday, we're pretty much going to look for like four solutions. And so I'm just going to pick easy numbers to plug in. They didn't give them to me, so I get to pick them. I want to make it easy on myself, so I pick -1, 0, 1, and 2 to plug in. I just plug each of those in and get my answer. So -1 plus 2 is positive 1. 0 plus 2 is 2. 1 plus 2 is 3. And 2 plus 2 is 4. And so my solutions to the equation y equals x plus 2 would be -1, 1, 0, 2, 1, 3, and 2, 4. Those would be the four solutions I just found. So now what I do is I take those four solutions and I put them on a graph. So the first one was -1, 1. So if I graph that point, -1, 1 is right there. Second point is 0, 2. So 0 means it's right on the y-axis. 2 is going to be right in there. The third point is 1, 3. So I go to the right 1 and up 3, and that's that point. And then the last point is 2, 4. So over 2, up 4, and there's that point. Those are my 4 points. Now all I do is connect them. And you'll notice when I connect these, it gives me a straight line. That's important to remember. Anytime you're looking at your function, and the exponent on x and y are both just ones, I don't have any squares or cubes or anything, then my graph should be a straight line. So if you're graphing and you end up with anything other than a straight line, you know it's wrong. If you're going and your graph does this, and then you have to go jump up to hit your next point, and it does that, that means it's wrong. That's not a straight line. Or anything like that. If it doesn't come out just a line, then you know you made a mistake, and you should go back and check your table of values to make sure you didn't make any mistakes up there. And if you didn't, then you need to check your graphing and make sure you graph each of the points correctly. Anytime these do not have an exponent, you should end up with a line. Just remember that. Now, I have two special cases to show you. First one, the equation is a little different. It just says y equals 5. Well, if I want to make a table of values for this, then what I would see is there's no place for an x in my equation. So what that means is it doesn't matter what numbers I put in for x, it's always just going to be 5. That's never going to change. So my y value will always be 5. Now if I went to graph those points, the point 1, 5 is up here. 2, 5 is right next to it. 3, 5 is next to that. And 4, 5 is next to that. And so if I connect those, that it gives me is, it is a line, it's a special one, it's a horizontal line. Okay? Anytime, what this is going to show us is anytime we have a graph, having a function, an equation, that's y equals a number, then your graph is going to be a horizontal line. Okay? Anytime you have y equals some number, that is going to be a horizontal line. That's important to remember. And so the other special case we have is like the opposite of that, is when you have x equals a number. So in this case, you can see there's no place for y values in the equation. So what that means is, it doesn't matter what the y values are in this case, the exact opposite of the last one. Y value could be anything. The x is always going to be -3. And so if I were to graph these points, -3, 1 is there. -3, 2 is right above it. -3, 3 is right above that. And -3, 4 is right above that. So if I connect those, now what I have is a vertical line. And again, just like with the y's, it's always like that with an x equals a number. Anytime my equation is x equals a number, I will get a vertical line. So if it's x equals a number, vertical line. If it's a y equals a number, you get a horizontal line. And if you have y equals something x plus or minus something else, then the line is going to be slanted, but it should be straight still. We don't want any of these things in there. That's how you graph lines from an equation.